Hey, gang. Happy. Still Sunday. Happy Mother's Day. As we start our third stream now on these thunderstorms moving into the area, including a severe thunderstorm warning still for Milam County. Mainly for wind now. That hail threat does not look quite as big. Yeah, that's what you like to see right there, is the hail threat not quite as big. There is one cell southwest of Somerville that we're going to look at here in just a little bit that's apart from the main cluster. And that is what our biggest concern is. You see like the kind of bulging out of some of these pockets of stronger wind. And let's see what the radar is sampling here. Still, 50, 55 miles per hour. That's our biggest concern. Very strong wind. That's right now at the Burleson and Milam County line. So did we get a new severe thunderstorm warning? Here, Okay, so we don't technically have one for Burleson County, but we ought to have one here pretty shortly. And if you've been with us on the streams over the past couple hours, this is what we've been expecting to roll through, and we'll slowly push through the area over the course of the overnight. Kevin, yes, we are on YouTube as well. And if you want to be a guinea pig and hop on that and comment and let me know if that is working well, if you're hearing everything. Yes, it is on YouTube. We are also on kbtx.com. You can even pull us up on your smart TV app if you'd rather watch this on TV instead of your tablet or your phone. If you have a smart TV, if you have a Roku, if you have a Fire Stick, if you have a Chromecast, Apple TV, whatever it is, just search KBTX, and we can make it to where we just override whatever the other live programming is on there, and we go straight to weather. So that's, if you want it on the big screen without us being on air, that's how you do it. Carol says it's pouring in Lyons. Yeah, y'all got a pretty big cell overhead right now. Amber, are you telling me there's hail in Marquay, or are you asking if there will be hail? Let me check overhead right now. It doesn't really look super threatening for your area from a hail perspective, but I think it's a possibility. Somerville, very heavy rain falling. The heaviest part of that cell is still off to your west, and this is one of the last few cells that's actually still kind of moving east to west, but now it's finally getting picked up by those lower level winds and starting to push back to the south and to the east. So this is actually one of the bigger hail concerns over the evening, and we need to watch that more for Burton than for Somerville. That's going to keep pushing to the south and to the east. It's on the south side of Lake Somerville. Potentially quarter-size hail with that. There is a new severe thunderstorm warning there that does include Burton until a little bit later this evening. Okay, I got you, Amber. Do you know how big it was? I appreciate the report, by the way. Hopefully everybody's good. Yeah, a lot of Bryanites have not seen a whole lot of rain, where a lot of South Brazos County folks have seen a lot of rain. I'm going to take it out of motion real quick, because I do want to talk about that, because I think in addition to the strong wind potential, I want to also talk about flooding, because here's our reserve precip and what we've seen so far. And that little area kind of in between far south College Station, Milliken, and Navasota, we'll see upwards of 4 inches in some spots. And there's a couple of these little corners of the Brazos Valley that have seen upwards of 1 to 2 inches. And so it's not very widespread where we've seen that. But in some of those spots, y'all are going to say no to rain. We don't want any rain for a while. So again, main concerns that we have here for tonight. Obviously, you've already seen that come to fruition, that localized 2-3 inches total, which could lead to some flooding. Most of us have not seen that, though the way that these storms are moving pretty slowly, I think that threat actually could go up a little bit. My main concern here now, especially with that initial burst of thunderstorm activity that we're seeing moving west to east, is for strong wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour. Some of these storms have also produced hail, though it has not been in a very widespread fashion, so that's why it is lower. I think what we're going to find, though, is that the upper bounds of the potential of hail size has gone down a great deal. We actually did see a confirmed spotter tennis ball size hail in Walker County a little bit earlier this evening. I would be very surprised at this point if we see hail that large. Quarter, maybe even up to golf ball. I won't rule out, but I would be pretty surprised if we see anything larger than quarter size hail from here on out. That being said, it is a possibility. My biggest concern is for strong wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour. Here's the latest high-res data that is trying to resolve how much rain we see fall, and it still has a couple pockets of 4 to 5 inches. It's got most of us getting more on the order of 1 to 2. But the flooding concern is absolutely there, and the potential for this to really put a dent in the drought looks pretty high. Dorsey says constant rain, some wind in Yewa Creek at Lake Somerville. Valerie says getting wild down in South College Station. What kind of wild? A lot of lightning. And again, there's been a lot of rain y'all's way. Burleson County radar starting to fill in there too. With my biggest concern right this second, again, is that wind potential and what we're starting to see. I'm going to put this wind in motion here for you and kind of show that downdraft as it's traveling out. Now, the good news is those colors are not quite as bright as you go in time. So what we could be seeing is this little burst of activity that could be looking a lot more tame as it moves south and east. And that very well could be why the National Weather Service has not issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Burleson County. I don't want to speak for them, though. Now, severe thunderstorm watch in effect for the rest of the Brazos Valley. I mean, we largely expected that to happen a little bit later, or a little bit earlier, I should say. But that obviously not a concern right this second. I'm sorry, I'm sharing this this live video on Facebook to my other page. Okay. Thank you, YouTube folks. Yeah, absolutely. We're happy to be on YouTube. Sealy, it's gonna be several hours. As far as huge concerns, not really. Just the way these storms are kind of behaving themselves right now, I don't see a huge severe threat materializing for you. But like I said, strong winds my main concern, but it's probably going to be a couple hours before storms get to y'all in Sealy. Crazy amount of rain in Navasota. Yeah, the flooding concern is highest for me around Navasota. That is where things are looking real wet, upwards of 3 to 4 inches. We've had some folks asking about Leon County. Nothing severe there, though. One of you right at the start of this stream said you reported some hail in Marquay. The good news about that cell that did produce baseball-sized hail, that has really, really quieted down, just kind of gone quietly into the night before it got to Oakwood. So the concern there is relatively low. And in all these spots where you're getting, some rain-cooled air ahead of these thunderstorms rolling through, the severe threat looks pretty low. I'm going to give myself a little bit less headroom. It's not bothering me as much. I've got so many buttons in front of me, y'all. I don't know what to do with all of them. Now that's not enough headroom. Okay, that should be good. And then we'll get back to the microphone to make sure that everything is on there. Okay, cool. Robinson County folks, I know we got some Franklin people, some strong wind moving over the Brazos River as we speak. So Hearn folks, you've got some rain rolling in. The winds don't look all that crazy bad, maybe 40 miles per hour or so. And again, let's see, where are the active warnings? I'm going to take off the radar and lightning. So the active warnings that we're looking at here is for Lee County and for that cell that was potentially really my only hail concern at the moment. is for that cell that's kind of slowly working its way towards Burton. Now, the good news is it has not really grown all that much, but it's not really weakening either. So that's my concern for y'all is that maybe it moves southeast into Burton and drops some hail there for you. Everybody else, it's really heavy rain and some breeze strong winds right as those thunderstorms push in. So I'm going to put a storm track on here for you in just a second as these storms have sped up a little bit and they now move east. Let's call it at about 30 miles per hour, where earlier some of these storms were barely moving. But now we're finally seeing the upper level winds start to pick them up. So let's put these moving east. And again, this is not going to be perfect, but a good rough estimate for how things go over the course of this evening and where they arrive. Okay, so hopefully this answers like a broad stroke of a lot of you asking about specific locations, which again, I always welcome. Sometimes, admittedly, it can get a little bit overwhelming. And sometimes I miss the comments, and I apologize for that. But hopefully this kind of gives you a frame of reference here. And this is for everybody, especially here over the next hour or so. My biggest concern for you watching this is that we see strong winds and there is an outside potential for some hail. But especially those of you who have been looking at rain for the past several hours, the flooding potential is real there. So the good news is now that it's nighttime, we really only see that becoming a problem when a lot of people are out and about and trying to drive. So I think by the time we get to sunrise tomorrow, those hail are, goodness gracious. Oh, that was a big one, y'all. And that happened right after Shel Winkley came in the comments. So I'm going to blame him for that thunderclap. That had to have struck Shel Winkley's house. Where was it? Where was the lightning strike? Oh my goodness. That scared me. Okay, here it is. It was north of Shel's house. Oh my gosh, there it is. The source of that strike was right at Villa Maria and 29th. That's right by the hospital. Shoo-wee. Tell me y'all heard that. That was crazy. Well, there's no question whether that was a cloud-to-ground lightning strike or not. Yeah, 29th and Villa Maria, that was right by the hospital. And Blinn and areas like that. Probably woke up the Zwernemans. Who else lives out that way? We're going to see the uptick in people coming onto the stream by like 2 or 3 dozen just from people around Blinn in the hospital in St. Joe's saying, yep, I heard that. Goodness gracious. Okay. Well, I'm awake now. I was going to go get a cup of coffee, but I don't need that. Okay, yeah, as I was saying, biggest concern here, other than cloud-to-ground lightning, is the potential still for some strong straight-line wind damage. Largely have not seen that, but like I was showing you a little bit earlier on the velocity, like there's still some pockets of strong winds that we're watching here, and that's about to roll. That's rolling through Crispin right now. It's actually pretty close to Mumford and into Caldwell, kind of as we speak. Lee County, also looking at some strong winds there too. That's along the Highway 77 corridor. So what you're looking at right now is the Doppler radar picking up winds and trying to resolve how fast the wind is blowing, how strong the wind is. And it is, here's the Fort Hood radar. So it's still pretty close, and it's still looking at a couple of pockets of potentially like 70 mile per hour winds. So Giddings right now, again, that's the big concern there for you. There's obviously a lot of lightning here with this. The hail threat looks a lot lower than it did just a little bit ago, but we're still seeing a couple little hail cores here, one south of Giddings and another one that hasn't really moved a lot. That's just in the northwest of Burton, and it is moving south and east. So if you're in Burton, the hail potential is still real there. David wants to know about Conroe. It is probably still going to be another couple hours before it rolls into Conroe. So let's just put it about like this and kind of give you a rough estimate of where things are going. Let's see. Conroe, it's got about 2 hours from now. And that would not shock me. Like, you're probably hearing rumbles before that, but the main cluster of thunderstorms, it's probably a good hour and a half, 2 hours away. So it's going to be a little while before eastern counties start to see rain again. Wind concern, the same. Like, 60 mile per hour wind gusts are possible. I like radar trends lately about the way things are trending as far as most of us avoiding strong winds, but I'm not going to rule out 60 mile per hour wind gusts, and that includes South College Station. Rock Prairie, same. Iola, same. And I'm not trying to be snooty or snappy. I'm just saying a lot of what I'm saying about specific places applies to just about everybody. There's that hail core on the south side of Lake Somerville, and then I take that out. Look, I mean, that's just an insane amount of lightning. Over 900 strikes within the past 30 minutes. Right around Lake Somerville. Very, very loud, very, very heavy rain. New Baden, going to be probably less than an hour. And you'll start to see the rain rolling through, but there's nothing super threatening that looks up that way. I think my biggest concern right now for cells is right about like this. And this is all moving eastward. This is where we are seeing the cells from earlier tonight merge with that main cluster. And so in that process, there's a lot of lightning, very, very heavy rain. Fortunately, still not like a huge hail concern, although you see a couple of like little hail cores trying to materialize here and there, especially that one down towards Bastrop, really southeast of Bastrop, I guess. That one near Burton. Let's go back and look at velocity. It doesn't look all that crazy. Giddings is still my biggest concern here for strong winds. Miranda, well, I'm glad you're inside now. I assume a lot of folks are just hanging out in trailers or RVs there around Lake Somerville, so I'm sure that's not super fun right this second. Here is our first alert radar this evening. Ooh, okay, let's take a look at that. Let's look at that velocity signature. Okay, see, that's still not awful. So, like, it's picking up about 50 mile per hour wind gusts over Chrisman. And that east of Chrisman now. Mumford, Hicks, maybe up toward Gauze. Probably not Gauze. Brenham, yes, hail potential for sure. It's not an immediate concern for you, but that cell that's moving into Burton, we'll need to watch that for Brenham later. I'm not hugely concerned about it. A lot of what we have seen suggests that the hail threat's starting to wind down. Wind threat for South College Station is about the same as everybody else along and west of Highway 6. Again, radar trends are looking good, but I still think that I'm not going to rule out severe wind gusts just yet. I think especially where we're seeing that, you see that kind of jutting out on our velocity scan. Here, I'm going to take that. I'm going to zoom in, show you. So that's where, like, Cook's Point, folks, some big wind there, and there's even some good wind beyond the leading edge of these storms in the Yeah, Milam, Lee, Burleson County, like triple point. But the only active severe thunderstorm warnings that we have is for that part of the cell that is just northwest of Burton and for just Lee County in general. Big wind moving along the Highway 77 corridor right now. Caldwell, again, you're probably looking at the worst of the storm moving through right now. Benchley, storm's rolling through here within the next 30 to 45. Yeah, Somerville, that storm just is parked over you. I mean, it's going to be a while before the rain stops, and it's going to be pretty noisy at that. I don't think you have any worry about, like, immediately trying to leave where you are, even though, like, you're in a motorhome, an RV, a trailer, stuff like that, like around Lake Somerville. But I would definitely recommend staying put. Somebody asking about the circle. This green circle is a flood advisory. This is where some radar estimates of upwards of 4 inches have fallen from like far south College Station through Navasota, and we'll call that South Central Grimes all the way back to the north side of Lake Conroe. So let me put this in motion for you, just kind of show you guys how things are headed. West to east over the course of the night. Like I said, I like trends as far as the wind and the hail potential, but I'm still not ready to rule out severe hail, severe wind. So that is my biggest concern. Rockdale, things are starting to quiet down. Yeah, Heather, I'm not going to tell you not to go to sleep. I don't think we're talking about that kind of storms, but y'all will probably still get some rain and some rumbles in Franklin before things really quiet down for you. So. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you this is something that you need to stay awake for, but I would keep your phone on loud just in case. No tornadoes. And I'm gonna repeat myself again because right now the Franklin, just mentioned that. So I'm getting a lot of just getting overwhelmed with some of the comments. Sorry. This is a blanket statement about the severe potential. Is that, I showed you where some of the active severe thunderstorm warnings are right now. I like the way that radar is trending in terms of severe wind gusts, in terms of severe hail. I will not rule either of those out yet. So if you are watching this, there is still a potential that you find some hail. The only spot where I could say you're pretty much in the clear from hail at this point is like if you were in Cameron or Buckholtz or Rosebud, like if you're on the far western side of Milam County, you are good to go. Everywhere else, although I like the way things have been trending since we started the stream, 60 mile per hour winds, quarter size hail are my main concerns for you. Have not seen a whole lot of hail other than that cell that's near Burton. So again, I'm liking trends, but I don't trust this storm system. So that is what the situation is. Clears the area over the course of the overnight. So sitting at 11 o'clock right now, it is probably going to be another 2 or 3 hours before we really start to see this thing clear out. Navasota, same thing. No, Rusty gets enough attention as it is. I'm not bringing him here. And Rusty's probably asleep. Rusty's not working. That dude never sleeps, actually. And he probably is working. I'm sure he's working on something. Probably posting pictures and things. Mac, appreciate you. Michelle wants to know, can you put the wind speed overlay on? Yes, I sure can. Go back and look towards... I think a pretty good question here on YouTube is, why is hail not the highest concern considering what hail can do, damage to buildings, cars, etc.? Mainly just because the way that these storms have behaved is they're becoming what we call more outflow dominant now. And so what that can often do is limit not only the tornado potential, which is pretty much zero now, but it can also keep storms from continuing to grow upscale and produce hail cores. So yes, hail is a concern if it's happening, but what we're largely seeing here with that hail vision is that there's really only a couple of parts of the storms that have pulsed up to potentially be producing hail, at least according to what we see on radar. And so when I say that's a lower concern than wind, I mean really that it's less likely than strong wind. Here is the velocity signature again. What you see is red blowing away from the radar, green blowing toward it for the most part. And so it's along this area right here, which this might be somewhat old data from what I think we're probably going to have to do now. I think our trusty Fort Hood radar. Yeah, that looks better. I think our trusty Fort Hood radar has decided to stop doing velocity data. So we're going to use our trusty First Alert Weather Radar, which again, things are looking great. All right, let me see. Camp Creek Lake, severe threat, I think, again, looks relatively low for y'all. But y'all are definitely still going to see some rain before the night is done, within the next hour or two. All right, I'm checking on the... So we got that one severe thunderstorm warning for over Burton that expires here in 10 minutes. There's another one down in Fayette County that they just issued for 60 mile per hour wind and hail. That Lee County warning also expires in about 10 minutes. And it would not shock me if they just let it expire and don't issue a new one. And I bet what is coming is like a blanket special weather statement from the National Weather Service. Eddie, I'm not a huge fan of thunder either. Like I said in one of the earlier streams, when I'm like on vacation or I'm out of town and it's raining, I like it. But if it's raining when I'm in town, I feel like I need to be working, so I don't like it. Sean, yes, more heavy rain coming for South College Station. There's already been a lot, but there's definitely more coming. And the green oval is a flood advisory. That is for southern Brazos. Here, let me see if I can click on it. Come on now. Why are you doing this to me? This is some of the heaviest rain we've seen so far that is finally starting to fall in South Bryan. Hi!
They are issued a severe thunderstorm warning for central Burleson and Washington with tornado possible.
Where?
For south central Burleson and west central Washington counties.
Okay. I do over Burton, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Brenham, still a minute before this gets to y'all, but still some big storms headed your way over the next hour or two. Okay, what we're going to have to do, get my microphone turned back on. We are going to hop on air for a hot second because they're about to issue a new severe thunderstorm warning that includes Burleson and Washington counties. What we'll do is we'll just leave the stream on as it is, and we'll flip over to what we're doing on air. So we'll do that, and then we'll hop back on. Rochelle, I appreciate it. We'll do that, and we'll hop back on stream here in just a little bit. So y'all give me just 1 second, and we'll get you that on-air update, and then we'll hop back on stream. Katie, what program are we in right now? Okay, yeah, we can hop on air then. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. Yes, Grimes County is getting more tonight. This is moving west to east. Cass, that warning hasn't come through yet. I'll be right back, y'all. Update for you, and for what is a warning that hasn't populated in our system just yet, but we're about to get a new severe thunderstorm warning for a couple of different areas that will include Burleson County and parts of Washington County as well. Some of y'all under a warning already. Just got an alert on my watch as well. Okay, this is just lightning from our KTX weather app. But what we were looking at is a potential for some pretty large hail just north and west of Burton. Now we're closely monitoring this for at least a little bit of broad rotation. We mentioned today, and still think largely this is the case, that the tornado threat is very, very low. But what we are seeing as this cluster of thunderstorms is overtaking some of the other storms is that we have found some little pockets of brief rotation, including one that is over Caldwell right now. So again, we're seeing a little bit of rotation with that. That is not all that concerning right now, but again, you're seeing a little bit of wind going away from that Fort Hood radar and a little bit kind of going back in. So there's a little teeny tiny notch of some rotation right over Caldwell right now. Again, this is not an immediate concern for a tornado, but we will be watching that closely. It is moving eastward towards the Brazos River. So again, it's not something that is of immediate concern, but a potential. And again, we'll see this severe thunderstorm warning populate on our graphic system here in just a little bit. I imagine Weather Service folks are just trying to format it, pick the right polygon and all that good stuff. But meteorologist Cassidy Towns is with me here as well. If you want to take us off of velocity, let's go back down to that Washington County storm now, and let's look at that for our Burton friends. And also, Cass, I don't know how easily you can pull up Facebook as well, and we can pull back up the stream and see if there's any additional questions that we can answer while we are on the stream. We're not going to spend too much time on air here, but if you are watching us on air, this is how you typically get information from us. We are also streaming on Facebook, on YouTube, and at kbtx.com/livestream. So if you just go to any of those, you will see exactly what you're seeing right now on air. So once we do step aside, the coverage of this is going to continue. We're going to keep on streaming as long as these thunderstorms are at least doing what they are doing right now. So again, this is what the National Weather Service does sometimes, at least if there's a little bit of rotation, but there's no imminent tornado threat here, is you've got your classic, this meets the criteria of a severe thunderstorm, the quarter-inch hail potential, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and it says tornado possible, meaning really just, hey, the storm is rotating a little bit, we need to watch this, but there's no imminent concern for a tornadic storm. And where that rotation is just to the north of Burton. That's going to continue to push off to the south and east, more or less along Highway 290 just off to the north as well. But again, that's the only active warning that we have right now. Did we get that Burleson County warning?
Not yet.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, they must be just taking their time.
Okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to stay on air until we get that warning to actually come through. I don't think that they've actually issued it yet.
Anything
they gave us a heads up.
Not yet.
No, I'm not seeing. Well, yeah. That's interesting. Okay, let me just read this. So it's for 60 mile per hour winds, the hail potential as well. Locations impacted: Somerville, Burton Lake, Somerville. Okay, so I mean it's generally this area that we're looking
Yeah.
at here. So
Okay.
what we're going to do is we're going to stay on air for here just a little bit longer. Hey, this was the original warning reason. Was just south of Lake Somerville. I've got hail falling. There's so much lightning with this storm, and a lot of you on Facebook and even on the YouTube stream are camping around Lake Somerville. You're in the RVs, you're in the trailers, you're in the mobile homes and stuff like that that are just kind of surrounding the lake, and it is just nonstop pouring on you. So just stay where you are. Again, there's no reason to try to drive out in this because it's blinding rain anyway. We're just going to have to kind of ride this out because unfortunately there's more rain coming this way too. I picture a few more flood advisories coming here pretty soon. There's one right there for southern Lee. There's another one in southern Brazos County, a lot of Grimes as well. So again, potential quarter-size hail still here between Burton and the south side of Lake Somerville. Cass, while we're here and we're on air, let's put this all in motion here for you and just kind of show you guys what's happening over the course of the past couple hours and try to project this out for you for the rest of the evening. Because we're going to see uneven rainfall totals here with this particular event, but we still have a lot of rain coming our way tonight.
And that looks like a new flood advisory in Milam.
Yes.
Is that new?
Yep.
Yeah.
That is new. So that includes pretty much anywhere along and west of Highway 36, Highway 77. So I guess just the western half of Milam County flood advisory there. But if you don't have any plans to leave the house, then you should be good to go. Maybe a new little pulse up that storm over Burton.
Yeah.
But again, seeing this in motion, we've got this moving west to east here now, so things are going to get noisier in BCS before they quiet back down through the rest of the overnight. So we're probably still about an hour or two away from really seeing that severe threat go away from most of us that are watching this here tonight.
I'm pulling up some rainfall rates.
Yeah.
Here.
These are rates or accumulation?
Accumulation.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so that kind of southeastern corner of Brazos County, Milliken, Navasota, on your way to Carlos, upwards of 3 to 4 inches have fallen. And so you compare that to some spots. I mean, here at the station, this is the heaviest rain that we've seen so far tonight. So very uneven rainfall totals here, but we're going to try to kind of even this out with this round that is rolling through right now. You've seen, again, a couple of the other pockets potentially of up to 5 inches. Would absolutely believe that for our friends that are on the south side of Lake Somerville, because it's been raining there for a while now.
Yeah.
You'll see a similar little splotch there if we were to take that a little bit farther
And
east.
this is just in the last hour max.
Okay, yeah,
So,
wow. I mean, goodness.
Probably get it updated if I. But let's see.
Well, it's 11:16. Can you take sweeping radar off for just a second?
Yeah.
And we'll see if we can't get that warning to pop up. I don't think that's on us because we're getting all the other warnings. Yeah, that's bizarre. And now the Washington County one is gone
Peeled
too.
off. Interesting.
I really don't think that's us.
No, because we're getting, and we just have a flash flood warning now for Lee County next.
Okay, yeah. Then they must have not triggered that for some reason. Okay, well, what we're going to do, we're going to keep this going on the stream. The active warnings that we're talking about here locally are for that flash flood warning there in southeastern Lee County. Those are the only ones that we see right now. It looks like that one in Washington County was allowed to expire at 11:15. So if another new warning is issued, we will hop back on air as necessary. Otherwise, the plan is to just kind of continue this on our streaming platforms over the course of the overnight until this severe threat is passed. Largely, it's still the strong wind gusts.
It's back on now.
Okay, then they
don't
must
know
have
what
just
they're doing.
reformatted it. Okay, yeah, they just issued it at 11:17. Okay, so we'll spend a little bit more time talking about this. So there's the new one. And it's still the same thing that we broke in for, is the potential for 60 mile per hour wind gusts and some quarter-sized hail, and it's got that tornado possible tag. So again, we'll watch that for Brenham, folks. I really don't think that that's an imminent concern for you in terms of tornadic storm. I just really don't think the atmosphere is capable of producing that right now, but we are going to watch this closely. So everything I just said about how we're going to continue this on our streaming platforms, that's the plan. We're at kbtx.com/livestream. You can also access that on your smart TV. If you have a Fire Stick, Roku, whatever it be, search KBTX and you can find us. We are streaming there right now. What you see on air is exactly what you would see on the stream. You can get it on your big screen or hop on your phone, your tablet, go to Facebook, YouTube like we always do on that stream, and we are streaming there as well. If we see a new warning issue similar to this, we will hop right back on air for at least a little bit and then probably give you the same spiel about where we are streaming. But for now, we'll get you back to that regular CBS programming and continue our coverage on our streaming platforms. Stay with us here at KBTX. We're here to keep you and your family safe.
This has been a KBTX News Severe Weather Update from the First Alert Weather Center, sponsored by American Momentum Bank. For the latest weather anytime, trust KBTX.com and the First Alert.
South Central Burleson is just not correct. But, okay. I don't mean to disparage anybody's the way that we're talking, but I just didn't, I don't know, I didn't see it. No, there are no, sorry, I'm just now hopping back on the streaming chat. There are no sirens in Brazos County. All right, let's put this in loop. Like I said, I would be pretty surprised if we see something tornadic emerge from this storm. Let me go back. Let's look at velocity again. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of broad rotation here. Yeah, that's not going to tell me anything. Okay, and it's out of range of our first alert radar, but okay, let's go there. See what the Houston radar says. Okay, that's why they're doing that. So yeah, there is some broad rotation. Again, I'm not seeing anything super threatening, but we are going to keep an eye on that for Brenham folks, and if we need to hop back on air, we will. Hearn, nothing really concerning rolling through. Just some good old-fashioned rain and thunder. Rockdale, pea-size hail at 11:15. Appreciate that report. Jill, you're going to be all right. Just, we're just going to ride this out together. No, there's no imminent concern for Brenham. Obviously, you aren't even in the, for the most part, in the warning. We're going to watch this closely for y'all. If there's anything super concerning, we'll for sure let you know. What I am seeing, again, is a little bit of rotation, but there's nothing that is like immediately concerning to me, but we'll watch that closely. That's the only active warning that we have right now of the severe variety, but where you see the green polygons and the maroon boxes and stuff, those are flood advisories, and it looks like another flood advisory is coming up here for Burleson and Washington County. Yeah, Arminia, the hail threat is not zero, but it has gone down a pretty good deal. It's with that cell that's warned right now, kind of moving towards Brenham, in between Burton and Brenham, where if we're finding hail, that's where it's going to be. Kelly, I don't want to make that decision for you. What I always tell people in RVs and trailers and mobile homes and things like that is better safe than sorry. But at this point, you're probably putting yourself more in harm's way by trying to go get her than she is by just being there. So I'm not going to tell you not to go get her because I don't want you to have to. I don't want you to have to sit there and just worry about her the whole time while you're sitting here. But in my humble opinion, you'd be doing more harm than good by trying to go get her. Because at this point, it's already raining and storming. Driving out in it is not typically recommended. Yes, flood advisory all around Lake Somerville, and again, the polygons get a little contorted at this point when you start stacking on rain in certain places. But yes, it's a flood advisory. Yeah, Tunis. I don't see anything crazy threatening coming y'all's way. Some heavy rain right now in Mumford. I would say like a lot of Brazos and Robertson County. This is not a huge concern here. Really, the thing that I am focused on the most right now is the cell over Washington County that's in between Burton and Brenham. Jill, it is entirely possible that we're looking at an all night long type of ordeal because I'm going to put this over the last 3 hours and show you how quickly this has been moving. It's going to take a hot minute. Now, the severe threat is not going to last all the way through the overnight. It's going to move east along with the leading edge of this activity. So a lot of you who are actively looking at rain right now, the severe threat's kind of winding down. Like the leading edge of it is, let me show you velocity here. The leading edge of it is moving like into Brazos County right now. But even now you can see that this is kind of starting to jut out more south and east, which is a good thing for Brazos County. And what I think we're going to see is this continues to propagate eastward. We're probably not looking at much in way of severe weather in Brazos County. I think here in Burleson County, you're getting pretty close to being in the clear from severe weather. Lee County as well, though it's been a heck of a past 2 hours. I'm about ready to give you the all clear. Giddings, it's still a mess rolling through there right now. But the heaviest stuff, the bigger wind, is now to y'all south and east. In Washington County, we're still watching this closely for y'all. Yeah, there's a little bit of rotation, but it just doesn't look. Yeah, Kelly, there's no rotation over Caldwell anymore. I was looking at it a little bit earlier. The environment that you're stewing in right now in Caldwell, it would shock me if there was anything tornadic that came from that. You're probably sitting in the 60s. OSR and 45, not necessarily in the clear just yet. Tabor, same type of deal. I mean, overall, this is how I started the stream as well, going on about an hour ago. I still like radar trends. Really, my only imminent concern here is for that Washington County cell. Everything else looks relatively tame. Yeah, I've been poking around at it. What do you think?
I don't know, because I know the radar's hitting like the mid-level of the cloud, but
Right.
it looks kind of soft.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Fort Hood's got one of the better views of it. Let me see if I can get Austin, San Antonio. No, it's not letting me. Okay. Yeah. The rotation's tightened up a little bit. That's east of Burton. It's kind of like right on Highway 290. I'm not seeing anything with that or that. So again, what we're looking at is those two opposite colors, that green and red, really close together and really bright. Not super bright, but a little closer together than what we would like, and it looks like we're seeing some intensification of that hail core that's kind of in between Burton and Brenham right now. I think this is behind by a few minutes, so it's a little bit farther east. Centerville, more or less in the clear. Yeah, I think the severe threat's very, very low for y'all. Snook, same type of deal. Sharon, nothing like what y'all saw earlier. I mean, y'all get some more rain and thunder through the overnight, but the crazy stuff that y'all had a little bit earlier, I don't think will compare to what y'all will see tonight. Somebody asking about where the rotation is. I mean, it's like right here we're looking at. And it's just on the east side of Brenham. East side of Burton, moving towards Brenham, where we're seeing a little bit of rotation. Nothing super threatening, just something that I really want to keep eyes on. It's going to be another couple hours before we see this rain clear out. It's not moving very fast at all. So it's moving from west to east, and again, that's just over the past hour. So my biggest concerns now for severe weather in the immediate future is where we see that severe thunderstorm warning in between Burton and Brenham, and then eventually into Austin County, and then kind of like this area. Is where things are likely a little bit less stable than elsewhere. I think I saw temperatures down to 70? Yeah, 70 with an east wind, again here in Brazos County.
It's a lot better now.
Okay, I agree. Thank you. Yeah, that's not anything I think ultra concerning right now. So again, I'm hopefully putting y'all at ease a little bit if you're in Brenham. We're keeping an eye on this. Again, as has been the case throughout the evening, my bigger concern is for hail and maybe some straight line wind gusts. This cell is rotating a little bit, and it makes sense that there's hail to go along with it. But overall, I'm not super concerned. Yeah, Elizabeth, that would not surprise me. I hate to hear that for you. We turn lightning back on here. Is that right? Oh, okay, there we go. There's the lightning. For a second, I thought. I mean, even still, we've toned down the lightning a good deal, which tells me that things are not as robust as they were a little bit earlier. David, I appreciate it. Considered coffee. I think I'm just going to stick with the water. Because at some point, I got to grab a couple Z's before the kiddos head to daycare. In the morning. Just several hours from now, but still. Okay, so for those of y'all who are just hopping on the stream, there's a lot of just random things on the map that I may actually get rid of here in a little bit. The green that you see here, those are flood advisories, okay? It just basically means, hey, it's rained a lot. Be careful driving. There is in maroon flash flood warning that's a little bit more dire in terms of flooding potential. It's lower lying areas, floodplains, and stuff like that where enough rain has fallen where there's a concern there. And then there's still this severe thunderstorm warning that is over west central Washington County in between Burton and Brenham. Lots of fresh lightning strikes here, so there's no real indication that this is weakening. In fact, we're probably still looking at a good bit of hail in between Burton and Brenham. We've been keeping an eye on potential rotation here, but it looks very broad to me. I don't think there's an imminent concern for tornadic activity, though it is something that we are keeping an eye on. I think my bigger concern right now in between Burton and Brenham is for hail. Ooh, there you go, Gary. Now we're talking. Donuts. Absolutely, Jill. Belleville, it is possible. That's one of the areas that I think if we are still going to find hail producers tonight, it is possible that we see that in Austin and Waller County a little bit later. Yeah, Kaylee, y'all should be pretty much good in Hearn. Some pretty heavy rain in between Hearn and Benchley. And that'll keep going, stretching up back up toward Wheelock. It's just kind of rain and rumbles here at the station right now. I'm just at Washington and, Fayette County and then eventually Austin County that has just got my eyes on it. Sherry's got some hail in downtown Burton. Do you have any idea how large? There's lots of new lightning strikes. Very noisy over Burton. I feel like Somerville's finally looking a little bit less crazy for you. There's my Washington County, folks. Oh, fresh lightning strike in Austin County. Youch. Marble size hail. Okay, thank you, Sherry. That is helpful. Navasota, yeah, there's the way that this is moving here is it's moving east. And so eventually you're going to get some of the rain that moved out of the area is actually going to kind of roll back your way as this whole cluster moves from west to east. But this is moving at a snail's pace. So, yeah, Navasota, I would be pretty surprised if anything that rolls through is severe, but it is not out of the realm of possibilities. Chelsea, the only place that we're keeping an eye on that for is in between Burton and Burnham right now. I think the tornado threat is very, very, very low. Don, absolutely. That's why we're here. That is why we're here. Rocky Creek, we still need to watch this for y'all. Nothing like imminent coming your way, but something to watch. It's a very noisy storm in Washington County there. David, absolutely. Thanks for saying so. Elizabeth, more or less. It shouldn't be anything as crazy as what rolled through a little bit earlier. I mean, the bigger parts of those storms are off to y'all's east, and things are moving east away from y'all slowly but surely. So it still might be noisy, but yeah, the bigger lightning threat is now to y'all's east. That hail core does not want to stop. Nor does that velocity. So again, we're still monitoring that rotation between Burton and Brenham. Okay. Chelsea, no, I think Robertson County is pretty much good to go. I mean, there's still some heavy rain there for sure, but the severe threat is much lower. Really, again, it's just this Washington County cell that's got my greatest focus right now. No, Jill, absolutely not. Rotation just kind of indicates, obviously that a storm is rotating, but a lot of storms that we call supercells rotate and don't produce tornadoes. Like very rarely do we actually see rotating storms produce tornadoes, but that's just one of the first things that you look for. And what you look for when a storm is rotating is you look for really bright colors of the opposite kind really close together. And so what I'm looking at right now is kind of telling me that the rotation is tightening up a little bit. And so that makes your ears perk up and say, okay, well, we need to keep an eye on this. We've got a couple of other indicators that we like to look at. This is our shear. So just like wind changing as you move up with height. And not only in the direction, but also speed. And again, this is also producing hail. And when you have rotating updrafts, you're also looking at the potential for hail as well. There's a latest sweep there. And again, it kind of keeps looking like it wants to tighten up a little bit, but the dynamics just aren't really there. And so that's why the Weather Service said, okay, we're going to do a severe thunderstorm warning with the tornado possible tag. We're not just going to straight up issue a tornado warning. That hopefully puts you at ease to say, okay, they're watching it, but there's no like imminent concern. And because also the thought is here, if you're under severe thunderstorm warning, you're also taking cover anyway. You're going to stay inside because there's hail coming your way, potential strong winds and stuff like that. So you're already there as far as watching the storm closely and taking cover and stuff like that. So. Yeah, Dorsey, I think that's probably a good estimate for y'all. Because again, we're coming up on midnight, and for it to be out of here within the next 2-3 hours, yeah, I think that's a pretty decent estimate. Yeah, Snook's got some very heavy rain. Nothing severe for y'all. Somebody on YouTube wanting to know, heavy rain's coming through right now. When's the stronger winds coming through? There's a decent chance, especially in some of these spots that have been looking at rain for so long, that other than like a couple of pockets of some stronger wind gusts, you've kind of already have seen that strongest wind that you will find out there tonight. It's largely where I'm looking at the new fresh lightning strikes that is most concerning to me. So kind of on the leading edge of this, like far southeast Burleson County, but especially Washington County, in between Burton and Brenham. And I know that's what I've been saying for the past like 30 minutes now. But that's the way that I feel still. Roku audio is a bit choppy. Okay. Appreciate that report. I will file that away. That stinks to hear. It could be because we've been running this software for a large portion of the day without restarting it. So that could be why it's a little bit choppy. But that's good to know. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Shout out from Traditions. No problem. Do I have a favorite place in Texas that doesn't see this type of weather very often? I'm trying to think of a place that doesn't see this type of weather very often. It looks like we got a new severe thunderstorm warning. And I would imagine they're just kind of reformatting it. It really didn't change it hardly at all. Let's take that off. Look at the new one. And let's do this. I guess my answer is like Guadalupe Mountains, Big Bend. I do love the hill country, but the hill country be getting hail, y'all. Bigger hail than we do for the most part, usually. Okay, so it's the same type of thing that they're looking at with this new severe thunderstorm warning. They just kind of reformatted it a little bit. They're going to let the other one expire. And just go from there. Again, it's a rotating thunderstorm, but that doesn't mean that we're looking at anything super ominous at this point. There's still a lot of lightning. Like, it's a very noisy storm. It's going to pack a punch, but yeah, so that hail core is kind of widened out a little bit. Somebody says they're getting hail in Gay Hill. That makes sense. It could be up to quarter size. Golly, this storm does not want to move. This is such a bizarre setup, y'all. Like, because we're still looking at some of the rain, like the more what we call surface-driven activity that's still kind of curving back towards the upper levels, like this. But then on the back end of it, we're kind of seeing it like this. So it's almost like this little mini low pressure system is like directly overhead. In fact, it looks like we're kind of... Cass, I don't know if you can hear me on the stream. Looks like we're looking at a little mesovortex almost. Okay, that is mildly concerning. Okay. And it's that same area that we've been watching, like right in between Burton and Brenham, right along 290. Or a meso low is probably a better way to say it. It's just like a mini low pressure system that can be created just by a thunderstorm, is what we call cold pool. And so it just means like as a big complex of thunderstorms just kind of starts to swirl on its own apart from upper level stuff. Okay. Hey, Katie. I think we're probably about to hop on air again. Okay. All right, so if we're looking at anything worth reporting here, it's over Zionville where the main concern is here, but it's moving very slowly east. It's like almost in the loop in Brenham. And that rotation may just stay to the north of Brenham. Okay. Look at temperatures real quick. Yeah, see, that's another thing that it would just shock me if we're actually looking at anything tornadic. It is 69 degrees right now in Brenham. It's just really not something that you see very often. You see these widespread mid to upper 60s. And I mean, like, it's a little bit more unstable just to the south and east of y'all. The winds are doing a lot of funky things, but it would just be really surprising to me if we saw a tornado form in this atmosphere. Stranger things have happened. Yeah, okay. Well, again. And the way that these go, especially if it's nighttime, and these are getting farther away from certain radar sites, is if they issue tornado warning, we're going to hop on air immediately. Because you just can't tell when it's nighttime. Yeah, I think so. I think it's probably a good idea. Yeah, especially now, that latest one. Okay. All right, this is... with the latest here, I bet we're going to see a tornado warning issued with this. This is along 290 here now, right over Zionville, and moving. The rotation itself is starting to curve a little bit to the north and east, but moving more east than north. So we need to watch this for Brenham, but it's over Zionville right now. So we're going to step aside 1 second here. We'll get this punched over to what we're doing on air, and we'll be with you guys in a second.
Alert Weather Center.
Hey, good evening, Brazos Valley. It is coming up on the midnight hour here as we get into Monday. And the reason we wanted to hop back on air again is just the way that we've been monitoring radar trends for the potential for a little bit of rotation in between Burton and Brenham. A new severe thunderstorm warning accounts for this. And like we showed you a little bit earlier, it's got that tornado possible tag along with it, really just indicating that there's been rotation, maybe not quite compelling enough to issue a tornado warning. The way that we're going to treat this tonight, though, especially now that it is nighttime, and yes, this storm is very electric, but we're not going to get a good look at this, at least as far as the naked eye is concerned. So if we continue to see this rotation tightening up, we're going to treat it as if there is a tornado on the ground. Right now, we don't think that threat is imminent, but it was concerning enough to just hop back on air. And so what we're looking at here is this rotating thunderstorm, most definitely, but whether or not we're seeing that strong evidence of rotation closer to the ground is very much still in question, but something that we are monitoring for you. And it's, again, in between Burton and Brenham. So meteorologist Cassidy Towns is with me as well. We're going to take this, if you would, really quickly, take it off the loop, and then let's do that velocity scope and kind of show you where we were looking at the most compelling case for rotation. Doesn't look quite as much so with that latest sweep, but very clearly you can still see this storm is rotating. You've got the greens showing the wind is kind of blowing back towards the Fort Hood radar, and the red kind of away from it. So again, there's that little bit of rotation here, and the winds have been picked up as well. So at the very least, we could still be talking about just straight line winds gusting to about 45, 50 miles per hour closer to this storm. And so what we're looking for is that brighter green color right next to the brighter red and really, really close together. What we're seeing right now is still relatively broad, but we were also finding some enhanced wind blowing toward the radar, kind of about like that, where you see that brighter green. And so we felt we should hop on air just to continue to monitor this as well. And this is moving eastward and a little bit to the north. So this rotation kind of in between Gay Hill and Brenham is to the east of Burton. So Burton folks, at least as far as the rotation from this storm is concerned, you are in the clear. But we have also been seeing hail just be dumped on this location for upwards of 30 to 45 minutes now. So real quickly, Cass, so we can switch over to hail scope. And while we're talking about that, we'll let that next sweep come in. But the good news is this does not look as threatening from a hail perspective as it did a little bit earlier. But the problem is our radar is still trying to resolve that at about quarter size. And for the most part, past about the 10 o'clock hour, we have not seen much more than about marble size hail. Hopefully that continues. We are, again, live on Facebook and on YouTube as well. We've had a couple of Facebook reports about marble and nickel size hail in some of these areas with this particular cell. But the reason that we hopped on, in addition to the hail threat, is that the storm is rotating as well. So let's see if we got that latest sweep from the Fort Hood site. Okay, doesn't look worse, but it doesn't really look better. So again, we're still seeing this storm rotating as it moves off to the east.
It looks like it's shifted a little bit, more east than it was moving southeast. Due east and maybe even just a little bit to the north as well. And so the way that 290 kind of curves back down, you get the 36 loop about right there. So that's what we're watching for, kind of on the northwestern side of Brenham, in between there and Gay Hill as you're on your way there. This does not look like anything that is like, okay, we're for sure looking at a tornado, but again, this rotation compelling enough, so that's why we hopped on air. While we're here, let's zoom out. Let's put this in motion here for you and kind of show you the dynamics of this storm system that we're looking at right now, because this is a pretty interesting little scenario that we have across the area, where it was looking like everything was going to start moving west to east. What we've noticed here is that with the thunderstorms we saw moving from southeast to northwest, and that cluster of storms that moved west to east, these kind of combined the upper level circulation now. And what we're looking at is a little bit of circulation, just very broad circulation of these thunderstorms. And now it looks as if a little mini low pressure system has kind of formed overhead, kind of centered around Washington County. So some of these spots that we're looking at the rain wrapping up, it's started back up again, specifically southeastern Burleson County. And really all this means is just that we're still looking at some upper level energy here to work with as this storm system continues to somewhat track eastbound. But in some locations where things were starting to wrap up, you started to see some more moisture get kind of injected into your area, like in between Lyons and Snook, for instance, where things are still pretty noisy out there for you. So all that to say, this storm system is still moving very, very slowly, and we've still got some rain to come before we wrap things up in the overnight. Let's zoom out even more, because again, knowing that we're also on the stream here, and I kind of neglected a lot of the questions about specific spots. But what we're also seeing again is some activity starting to form once again where things have been quiet for a while. Northern Grimes County, northern Brazos, back up into Madison County. towards Wheelock and stretching back into Leon and Houston counties. None of this activity is severe. It's just heavy, and there's still a lot of lightning with it too. We've seen a lot of lightning, but the most electric part of that storm is what is moving into Washington and Austin County. And that remains my biggest concern for any severe weather over the course of the rest of the evening. The green polygons that you see there, those are flood advisories. Most of those they typically last for about 3 or 4 hours, just kind of the Weather Service's way of saying, hey, a lot of rain has fallen here. Be careful out there when you drive. There is a flash flood warning still in effect for southeastern Lee County. That is more of a dire situation where low-lying areas, floodplains, things like that may have more problems than just trying to drive around. A little bit more pink with that latest sweep. So again, western Washington County, I mean, we're probably talking upwards of 4 inches that you've seen with that. So now what we're seeing is still some rotation, but it's still pretty broad. And maybe a little bit of a...
Yeah, I don't know.
Excuse me. I've been talking a lot this evening. That's not super concerning, but we're still,
Yeah, it's like...
And again, that would be that's right in between Burton and Brenham, and it's right at about Highway 290. Not necessarily stationary, because it's been moving very slowly to the east, but yeah. What I think we are seeing, and I think this is a pretty perfect illustration, and if you would, Cass, kind of go back and forth in between the wind and the hail.
Yeah.
What I think we are seeing here is we're just getting a really good view at the inflow into this storm. Because there's where the wind's going in, and as you go up in the atmosphere, that's where you get the really intense updrafts, and that's where the hail comes after that. So what I think we're just getting a good view of right now is that more unstable air feeding into the storm, and then directly to the west of that and way up above are those hail cores that we're looking at, which has intensified here a little bit. So really what I think we're just looking at here is a supercellular thunderstorm that is in fact rotating, because they all do, that is still in an environment that can sustain itself and produce hail. So at the very least here, what we're looking at is the potential for more hail in Washington County, and it's still in between Burton and Brenham and has been for the past 45 minutes and is slowly moving eastward. And we're also seeing that kind of build back now down into Austin County as well, including Industry, maybe Belleville here within the next hour. Absolutely. If you have that, Katie, that would be great. A live look. Okay, this is one of our TxDOT cameras. This is right at 290 and 36 in Brenham. We can't control that, right? That's not us. Okay. Well, you can. So okay, let's think here. Cass, that's 290 and 30 and 36. That's got to be looking to the southwest. I mean, it's possible it's looking north, but I don't believe that it is. I think that's looking back in the direction that we need it to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously very electric. And if we sat there for long enough, we might be able to see something, but yeah. Okay, that latest scan again. Rotation, yes. Very concerning rotation, I would say right now, no. Cass, if you could.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got like the inflow notches now more than it has.
Yeah, that's true. Like these
Yeah.
little guys right there. Yeah. Again, that's not super concerning, but still absolutely worth watching. What we thought a little bit earlier was, this is not really the environment that we're talking about that produces tornadoes. And again, this is the only one that concerns me right this second. It's definitely something worth watching for our Brenham friends. Let's very quickly, while we wait for another scan to come in, Can we zoom out and show everybody else, since we're on in our 16 counties, I want to show you just the additional rain that we're still tracking. And again, it's along this line where the concern is the greatest, from about southeastern Burleson County all the way back down into Austin County. That is going to mainly move west to east, but we're still seeing moisture kind of feeding into this on the backside of it that has sparked up some new rain from the Trinity River back into Madison, Leon counties, and some heavy rain here still falling like around OSR and areas like that, but no active severe weather warnings other than this one that we're looking at in Brenham. So again, that's what I want to keep hitting home with. If you're
We just picked up Houston.
If you're on air with us tonight and watching the stream, areas like that, is Washington County where most of our concern is right now.
And Max, I wouldn't be surprised with this little line that's moving into Austin and Washington County to get some pretty gusty winds here.
Yeah.
It's really starting to organize into a little bit of a line there.
Yeah, that doesn't look. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're switching between radars here.
Right. So that's another challenge here that we're looking at. We have our first alert radar. That's great. This part of Brenham is really just outside of the range of that radar that we have on campus. And the problem with Brenham, Washington and Austin counties is you're getting kind of far away from the Fort Hood site, and you're pretty far away from the League City side as well. So we're still peering up pretty high into the cloud. And so it makes sense that you've got, some mid-level rotation. That's where most of that happens as it continues to pick in and ingest that unstable air, and it's able to kind of sustain itself. But if you see really, really tight rotation there in the mid-levels, then that's where the chances go up that you see it there in the low levels as well, as it kind of feeds back down. But that's not super concerning right now.
Yeah, that looks better.
So what we're probably going to do.
It's still pretty big hail core.
Yeah. And again, this is moving right into Brenham.
Yeah.
It's just taking forever to do so. This is a very slow-moving storm.
Yeah, so that's increased ping pong ball. It's not observed, but.
Let me see what we're looking at as far as storm motion, moving southeast at 15 miles per hour. So not very fast at all.
Almost, yeah, right. Almost picking almost 1.5 inches.
Some track stars could outrun this storm. I couldn't. But so, yeah, I mean, this is a pretty big hail core too. So obviously it's a very strong storm. Moving into Brenham, on the west side, you're probably already getting some hail. Burton, things are calming down for you. And we did have a couple of you on Facebook up towards Gay Hill report some hail there too. I didn't catch the size. You may have told me and I just missed it. But my biggest concern right now for Brenham is the hail potential. But with the wind concern and there being a little bit of rotation as well, you kind of, and the lightning, the insane amount of lightning, you've already gone out of the time frame to where you can do anything with the car or anything like that. So just don't worry about that. Just make sure that you are safe and inside. And the reason that they put these tornado possible tags on there and don't just flat out issue a tornado warning is A, you don't want a false alarm, but B, you've already got a severe thunderstorm warning on there. We're telling you to stay inside, away from doors and windows, especially if it's some wind-blown hail. So you're kind of taking all those precautions anyway. It's just not quite as urgent when you're looking at that tornado possible tag, which, yeah, I mean, it's
just going, it's pulsing up and pulsing down.
Yeah, and it's just a rotating thunderstorm.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is not a new episode of NCIS, is it, Katie? I think we're in reruns on CBS programming, but I know that I know that there are some of you who are trying to watch that. And so what we will do, once again, if we get a new warning issued, we'll hop back on air. But I like to be able to be at the computer and see your comments and answer those and things like that. So we are going to go back to the stream and continue this on our digital platforms. And if you've been watching the stream for a while, you've heard me say this about 10 times tonight. Facebook, YouTube, and kbtx.com/livestream. On all of the different smart TV apps and things like that, just search KBTX and you can find us there. You'll see exactly what you're seeing here now on that streaming service. So if we need to hop back on air, we absolutely will, but we'll just continue this coverage again for some potential up to about golf ball size hail moving into Brenham and a rotating thunderstorm that we're watching very closely for you. Stay with us here at KBTX. We're here to keep you and your family safe.
This has been a KBTX News Severe Weather Update from the First Alert Weather Center, sponsored by American.
The hail that was going to fall with it. Yeah, this is a big storm moving through Brenham right now. Is that golf ball? Okay. Okay. Yeah, the rotation's still looking just like it is. I mean, it's a rotating storm. It's a very strong one at that. But yeah, very strong wind and like a wall of hail. So what I think we're looking at now with this Brenham storm is it looks like it's starting to grow back to more linear. Like there's still a little bit of rotation with it, but yeah, you see that little notch in between Brenham and Belleville. So like there's these little inward notches of rotation, but to me, that just tells me it's just very strong wind, and obviously there's some hail with it too. Yeah, I mean, Courtney, what you're looking at is like wind blown hail moving into Brenham right now. So again, if you're in Brenham, you are past the point of like trying to drive somewhere to protect your car or bringing it inside or cleaning out the garage or like don't do any of that. Just let it happen and just make sure you're staying inside. Because not only are you looking at hail, but wind-blown hail at that. It feels like the wind has picked up here at the studio too. Am I hearing? I feel like I'm hearing a good bit of wind. Yeah, like if you're along and west of about here, so like Hearn, Calvert, Gauze, Milano, Cooks Point, Caldwell, Deanville, Dime Box, etc. Yeah, y'all are in the clear. All of this, still a little noisy, still a little rainy, but yeah, I'm not worried about y'all. Oh, right off of 290 in Brenham. Hang on, I'm just going to try to get back to that. Okay, yeah, Amy. At this point I wouldn't move the car. I think just stay put if you're in Brenham. Now Sealy, so y'all, let's see, are y'all in that new watch? I think it's no. Yeah, next hour or so could be some big wind rolling your way. The stronger part of the storm is TL's north, and probably honestly more of a concern for Belleville. All right, I'm going to go back and take another look at velocity. I think, Cass, I think if we're looking at anything tornadic, it's QLCS at this point. But I like the bigger concern here is just like wind-blown hail moving through Brenham. Belleville, y'all are if y'all don't get this, it's going to pass y'all just to the north. So I'd be ready for it in Belleville, especially on the north side. Okay, John, I appreciate it. Hey, Cass, will you look at 5-minute obs at Easterwood? Wind. Do we get like any recent gust pickup? No, really. Columbus, leading edge of that's moving through right now. I think the stronger stuff's probably going to pass y'all to the north, though. Brenham, y'all hang in there. Y'all going to be all right. But this is a gnarly one.
Highest wind I picked up at Easterwood was 30 miles per hour. Yeah, that hail core's getting really big. I know.
Golly, man.
What's radar pulling? Golf ball?
Navasota, I think you're probably fine, but I'm not going to tell you not to do that. I think that is probably a good idea, especially if you're like about to head to bed or something, and you can do so easily. Yeah, put your car inside. I think this is going to stay out of. Okay, there's golf ball. There. I'm looking for a ping pong. There it is. It's like on the south side of Brenham, a billiard ball, which is approaching tennis ball. Got a video from a good friend who lives in Brenham.
Is it hailing? Yep.
Yeah, I think he's just taking video from his bed. He says hail is just pummeling his house. Well, yeah. The good news is, I mean, like, this is really not appear to be a material tornado threat. I mean, unless you see those little notches.
Yeah, well, that one.
Okay.
If you go back to KGRK, that one looked a little.
Hang on. Here we go. Yeah.
Here. Here. This looks. It's broad, but.
Yeah, we could be looking at little QLCS.
But even like all the way down into here too.
There. 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 Okay. Well, I mean, we at the very least, I mean, we saw how big that wind was as it rolled into town. So,
yeah, Eastwood only pulled like 32.
Okay.
Surprisingly.
We love wind-blown hail, don't we? Banquetel, hopefully nothing. Hopefully no hail for Navasota. I was not saying. If somebody's about to go to bed and they want to know if they should put their car in the garage, I'm not going to tell you no. So no, I don't think Navasota needs to worry about hail right now. Yeah, really, I mean, that storm's kind of picked up some forward speed where it was just kind of hanging out near Burton. It was almost like it was just gearing up and winding up. Okay, Chris says golf ball size hail off of Key Street in Brenham. I'm making my buddy who lives in Brenham, making him get up and go check it. Okay, Lena, appreciate that. Another one of industrial. Yeah, I mean, it's loud, it's windy. Here's the good news is that it has picked up forward speed, so I think for Brenham folks, I'm not as concerned about this just hanging around for a while. So as you start to hear things quiet down, it should get better pretty quickly. Waller, I would watch out for it, yeah. I mean, it's Belleville first and then Hempstead. So Waller, yeah, absolutely should be on the lookout for this one. Iola's fine. Just rain. I am a little bit curious to see how much this storm kind of builds back to the north and east And it's going to move mainly east, but it might swing back up to the north and east as far north as I would say about Navasota, but I need to watch this for far southern Grimes as well. Yeah, Natty, that'll happen. And that can happen in like 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Trampolines are a no-no. Chris says now it's up to nickel-size hail. Between 290 and 36. Yeah, I mean, we were keeping an eye on the text.cam at 290 and 36, and it finally went out. Whether it was wind or lightning, I'm not sure, but it looked pretty rowdy as it was going out. So, yeah, y'all hang in there, Brenham. I mean, it's still rowdy there right now, but it's actually moving at a better forward speed than it was. So I feel a lot better about this getting wrapped up before 1 o'clock. So, I mean, again, hang in there. Yeah, this really has picked up speed a good bit. Singleton, nah, not really concerned. Andrew, appreciate the report. Southside by HEB about quarter size. That's the largest report I've heard so far, and it being on the south side makes sense because that's where the hail core has kind of been sampling the strongest. It's like along and south of 290 for the most part, stretching all the way back to the Austin County line. So Chapel Hill, folks, this is moving a lot quicker than it was in between Burton and Brenham. It kind of hopped on 290 and then just decided to finally start trucking. So Chapel Hill, and then eventually the Brazos, Washington and Waller County line along the Brazos, and eventually it's going to get to Highway 6 and 290 after that. Hopefully hail's not dropping on that statue place. Got another report, some hail in Brenham. Yeah, actually, the hail may stay just to the north of y'all in Belleville, but you'll probably at the very least get some good wind. I apologize, I'm neglecting the YouTube comments again. Big lightning in Navasota, Northern Grimes, yeah. Clear by 3-ish. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay. All right, we've got, so it's a special weather statement for the rest of Austin County that includes Sealy for 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts, so that's good. A couple of y'all very astutely pointed out in the YouTube comments that this storm, the severe thunderstorm warning was extended, but they removed that tornado possible tag. So that's good. Where? Oh, yeah. I mean, we could be looking at little bitty QLCSs. Which is not fun. But typically not insanely powerful. Just saying it should not be a huge deal, but Tyler says hailing so much you see it in the street. I believe it. It's instead of snowpack, it's hail pack.
That's not looking. Do you have velocity on?
Fort Hood?
No, it should be. Gray.
Where?
Right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, I'll have to keep an eye on that. It's at Washington and Austin County line. Let's see. So maybe passing just south of Chapel Hill, right at the just riding right along the county line. We're looking at a little bit more rotation there now. A little bit of rotation just on the north side of Belleville as well. And typically what we see with this type of system that's like mainly what we call linear, quasi-linear convective system, that's why I keep saying QLCS, is that sometimes you can see brief little spin-up tornadoes along with the strong wind. Those are hard to track down and typically don't do a ton of damage. But we are noting like these little what we call notches of rotation now that are moving out of Brenham. Hey, Brenham folks, good news. I'll tell you what, especially if you're on the west side, things should be quieting down here for you very quickly. And I'm hearing that there are some power outages in Brenham proper. Hail core looks a little bit better too. Yeah, this particular storm is not a concern for BCS. All right. So what we're kind of doing now, biggest concern here for severe weather is the southern end of this line of storms moving east and now almost kind of swinging a little bit to the north. But we're also still looking at inflow into this round of showers and storms that's still sparking up some rain and some heavy rain at that over BCS. Northern Grimes County, even back up into Madison County as well. That all is not severe. And I mean, really and truly, the chance for severe weather goes down significantly as you move north and west. I mean, it's 65 degrees right now in Brenham. So I would say in a line about like this, that severe threat is largely over and done with. We'll see if the severe thunderstorm watch gets trimmed back to reflect that. But I mean, it's 64 degrees right now in Cameron. And, well, 2 weeks ago we did have hail and 50-degree weather, but that's not the type of stuff that we're looking at right now. Like, obviously, it's still raining there, and I think it'll still continue to rain for at least the next couple hours. But we'll continue to clear things out from west to east over the course of the night. So my biggest concern right now is Washington and Austin County. After that, maybe far southern Grimes and Waller counties, and then Montgomery County after that, maybe far southern Walker County. San Jacinto County, obviously, we'll need to watch that for you closer to about 3 or 4 a.m. Yeah, I don't blame you for not wanting to look at your car. Do not blame me at all. Been there. That hailstorm that rolled through BCS. What was that? A year and 2 months ago, almost exactly to the day. I think it was March 13th of 25. My car was just sitting in the KBTX parking lot, and it got hailed on a lot. Okay, this looks a lot better now. Not a lot better, but it does look a good bit better. It looks a little bit better in terms of rotation as well. So yeah, Washington County folks, especially if you're in Brenham, if things are starting to quiet down for you, if the rain has stopped, you're largely done. It sounds like the damage has been done. I'm hearing a lot of y'all are without power. Got a couple of good friends in Brenham who are telling me exactly that. But the good news is the worst is moving out of there if it hasn't already stopped. If the rain has stopped, you're in Washington County, you're done. The severe threat is done and over with that. The bigger hail threat is now in northern Austin County, in between Brenham and Belleville, and probably going to just miss Belleville to the north. Chapel Hill, though, still kind of in for it, especially in terms of wind. Okay, Sarah says there's some hail in Belleville. Yeah, I think so. William Penn folks. It's kind of northeastern Washington County. Still some big wind, but yeah, I think that hail is going to stay to y'all south. Yeah. Sorry to hear that, Marianne. I think that the largest that I've heard from y'all in Brenham is quarter size, but the big deal here is that it's been wind-blown hail, so that makes it all the more noisy and potentially damaging as well. Dawn-ish. It's going to pass in between Brenham and Belleville. You're on the north side of Belleville. Wind concern there, like right now, and hail potential as well. I'll loop this again for you, just to kind of show you. Yeah, strongest wind and the biggest hail is in between Brenham and Belleville right now. Oh man, Cheyenne, I hate to hear that. Very likely lightning caused. Pardon me, y'all. I'm just looking to see if there's any reports that I'm missing. It's also good to hear that. Somerville, one of those spots where it just has not quit raining for the past like 5 hours. But Brenham, thankfully, that storm kind of picked up forward speed and now is finally starting to move out of your area. And it's just messy, like in a good way as far as velocity is concerned over Austin County. So it looks like this storm's kind of starting to try to weaken finally. Still some good hail, though, in between Brenham and Belleville. More really in between Belleville and Chapel Hill. Don, appreciate the report. In between Brenham and Belleville, says Aaron. Yeah, Aaron, that's better safe than sorry. And again, the worst is rolling through right now. The good news is, I've said this a couple of times now, but it's really picked up its forward speed, so you shouldn't have to be sitting there for too long. Radar kind of starting to fill back in over Brazos County, but nothing severe. Grimes County, same type of deal. Yeah, so I'll do this. Here's where I've just about said, you know what? I think you're donezo with the severe weather. And we'll even swing that back up into Leon and Houston counties. So all of this area, I'd say y'all are looking good. That includes BCS, includes southeastern Burleson County, although it's still very heavy there. I think you're largely done with the severe weather potential. The only spot that I think carries some interesting isolated strong wind potential here still is up through that kind of area right there in between kind of Lyons and Navasota. Maybe some brief erratic strong wind gusts, but really not any huge concern. That hail core continues to look better, by the way, in between Brenham and Chapel Hill. Good. There are folks from Brenham in the chat who have power still. It seems like most of you in Brenham have mentioned that the power has already gone out. Excuse me. Whew. It's getting late, y'all. This particular storm, I think, is still worth watching for Montgomery/Magnolia. The way that this has been behaving is it's been moving mainly due east. But if you look at the loop over the past hour or so, there's a little bit of a northward push to it. So I still wouldn't rule out some severe weather for Montgomery County. I think there's a decent chance that it stays to y'all south, but. Okay, Amy, I got you. I got power off of 577 to 290 in Brenham with power. Good. Okay, cool. Karen says power is out in Burton. I think that is it could be wind related, but I bet it's lightning related. Oh, that was a close one here in South Bryan. Golly, that is still just a really loud thunderstorm. And we might see that kind of fill back into southern Brazos County as well. See, this is almost turning north and east now. Almost trying to scoop right back up into... So Navasota, folks, that's why I kind of told you all you're not necessarily in the clear just yet. But while this storm is still very electric, I mean, it's moving into some areas that have been kind of worked over from rain over the past several hours. So I don't see this intensifying in such a way that we're talking a big hail threat, but some gusty winds and obviously some very heavy rain, the lightning too. Definitely something worth watching. It's just Very complex thunderstorm system is moving through. We've been seeing it finally pick up from west to east, but it's almost like backfilled in a couple of spots. Kind of like this. Paul says some big winds near Tower Point. Let's do this. Let's look back at this and we'll switch to that. Yeah. Yeah, we may be seeing some of the strongest wind in BCS of the entire day, like right now. Brooke, yes. Yeah, the worst is definitely past y'all in Brenham. Morning.
Morning. You want me to kick Cass out?
You can, yeah. Have her brief you. And can you ask her to look at 5-minute obs real quick?
What?
Can you ask her to look at 5-minute obs real quick? Yes, I could always use some coffee, Jordan. Almost always. But I'm not going to...
Latest
Do that.
reading just picked up half an inch.
Gusts. I'm sorry.
30.
30? Okay.
31.
Interesting. Okay.
I also, my map, like, gave me an alternate route to get home, saying that George Bush is closed. I don't know the validity of that, but,
Okay. Well, let's check. Let's do a little drivetexas.org action. Okay. I don't think we're going to find that that's what an issue is. Okay. Yeah, I could always use some coffee, but, and you're very, very, very welcome. It is our pleasure. That's why we're here. I'm going to try to eventually get a little bit of sleep before the kiddos wake up. And then I'm going to drop them off at daycare, and then I'll probably go right back to sleep, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. That's what my Monday morning looks like. Kelly, I think largely no. For a little bit in between Burton and Brenham, we were kind of worried about some rotating thunderstorms, but I think that tornado threat is largely over. The only place where I could really see that being like a concern is where that new severe thunderstorm warning is. That's now moving into Waller County, but I think they have it pretty much covered with the potential for thunderstorm wind gusts. So let's see, wind speed 60 miles per hour, hail size less than a quarter. So that is, I suppose that is good. But I mean, yeah, it says the heavy rain here still in BCS. I saw some of y'all saying in Gay Hill it was like heavier now than it was when the big stuff was rolling through. No, it's entirely possible. I mean, the wind's picking up. There's a little bit more rain here, too. You can see this kind of curling back up to the north and to the east. So there's some spots where it's been pretty quiet for a while, starting to get some more rain and wind. I'd be pretty surprised if we see anything severe with it because, like I said a little bit earlier, we're in the 60s. So, like, tornadic activity just looks very, very unlikely. Chris had a lot of hail in Brenham on the south side, especially. Appreciate that report. Yeah. Big ol' lightning bolts. I mean, here you have it, right? Let's take that lightning and let's do the past 30 minutes. Let's do past 15. It looks a little bit better. So we are finally starting to see it clear from west to east along I-35. What do we see with all this mess down here? All right, let's do this. Let's take a look. Ooh, that was a big one. That was a big one, y'all. It's every time. Those, shoo. You're just never quite ready for it. All right, let's go back. Let's go back home. I was just looking at the other stuff. All right. What I'm going to do here for a little while longer now that most of this activity is not severe, although it's obviously still raining pretty heavy in town. It's loud. The severe threat has not completely wrapped up, but it looks a lot lower now. And I mean, we're sitting here. I know there's still almost 200 of you in here on Facebook and more on YouTube, but Bank Hotel is going to be another couple hours. But I think the biggest concern for severe weather is just about to move into the Houston area. Still keeping an eye on this for y'all. I know that there are plenty of y'all who watch in Austin County and at least northern Waller County. And still some big heavy rain and maybe some strong winds moving into Grimes County as well. But right now, the only real severe weather activity that we're seeing is with that leading edge moving through Hempstead and Waller and Prairie View and areas like that. So what we may do here is meteorologist Kaylee Thomas is here, and I'm going to hand this off to her at some point, and she'll keep you updated. As more storms just kind of slog through the area now. Now they've actually, it looks like, slowed down a little bit. But the severe threat is much, much lower. It's just very, very heavy rain. Kevin, if it hasn't started raining in Huntsville just yet, it should within the next 30 to 45. Yeah, Marianne, there was some rotation that we were keeping track of as it moved all the way through Brenham. I don't know that we ever saw anything confirmed, any real like tornadic stuff, but yeah, for a hot minute we were a little bit concerned about it. Yeah, what is up with this weather anyway? there's some storms rolling through. This little low pressure system is trying to curl back some of the activity a little bit more to the north than that was quiet a little bit earlier. It's very, very noisy still. Not really looking at anything severe, but still there's a lot of lightning with it. Very electric storms, very heavy rain. And I think we're not looking at the type of environment that's conducive for hail anymore. But like we've said for a while now, for many days now, some erratic strong wind gusts are certainly a possibility, especially along and east of Highway 6. Even in some of the areas that, you've been looking at rain for a while now, could we see some severe gusts? Southeastern Burleson County, like Navasota, maybe even far southern Brazos County. I think it's a possibility we see some strong wind gusts here. Grant, absolutely. Thanks for saying so. Overall, the severe threat is much lower than, when we started this stream a little over 2 hours ago. But still think it's worth watching. I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons we are still on the stream. And for the most part, these storms are more bark than bite. But even still, you can see this little batch of storms that's trying to swing back up into Brazos County. And with that, could come some strong winds, but really it's just going to be really noisy and bring a lot of really heavy rain to some areas that have already seen a lot of really heavy rain. So it's just noisy, noisy out there. Yeah, Haley Waller. I mean, y'all are about to get the brunt of it, right? And if you haven't been able to sleep recently, it's probably going to be hard to fall asleep there for a while. So y'all still have a severe thunderstorm warning. It is mainly for that strong wind gust threat that is moving into town. It's through Hempstead already, so it's at the Highway 6 290 interchange. And it's going to be in Waller within, I would say, the next 15 minutes or so. No tornado warnings. We have not had a tornado warning as hairy as things looked over Washington County. We have not had a tornado warning in Texas since 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. It's just really does not appear to be a huge concern right now. I think the southern end of Brazos County is going to get another pretty decent round of heavy rain here. That's already moved back into Snook. Yeah, Brenham, it'll probably get quiet and stay quiet. So we're already seeing that towards Snook, down towards Milliken. So I could see that stretching back into Milliken, Peach Creek, maybe Welburn. Matthias, no worse than it has been. You might see some more pockets of heavy rain and stuff and maybe some gusty wind, but it's not going to get any worse than it has been. Yeah, y'all could get some pockets of heavy rain. It's going to be noisy. And maybe some gusts up to 30 to 40 with this last little batch that's rolling through. But after that, once it starts quieting down again, it should quiet down for good. This is the way this is just... There's the main line that's kind of moving now more north and east, and there's a little little batch of this that's kind of trying to curve back up to the north and to the east. And that's what we're looking at, where it's going to get steadily more noisy for a little bit in southern Brazos County, but I don't really expect anything severe with that round that rolls through. Not seeing anything super concerning. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a water break and maybe just have the radar loop on here for a little bit, but we're not going to end the stream yet. Going to have a little powwow in the First Alert Weather Center as 3 or 4 of us are here. And just kind of figure out the rest of the night for you guys. Again, the biggest reason I'm doing that is because there's no real active, huge, crazy threat for you. There's still that severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're in a line between Hempstead and Waller, the gusty winds coming your way, and that's really the big concern with that. So we'll check in back with you guys here in a little bit. But we're not going to wrap up the stream just yet. So we'll put the radar on live here for you. And we'll check in here in a little bit.
All right, good, very early morning, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging around. Did a little shift change here, sent Cassidy and Max home, and now you've got me. And I don't think I'm going to stay on for very long, given the fact that that warning was allowed to expire. Now, this is still very noisy as the system continues to move through. We're even seeing a little bit of kind of a heavier band of rainfall moving towards Bryan College Station and kind of into the area as well. Looking at those winds, again, it's not incredibly strong, but a noticeable pickup. We can kind of poke around in there. Yeah, it's not much. I think it'll be kind of a brief little gust, heavier rain, maybe some additional flashes of lightning, and that's it. Still looking at the heaviest activity from South Brazos County down through southern Grimes and then into Waller. But again, all of those warnings have been allowed to expire, which is fantastic, fantastic news. So let's pull up winds here. Again, right now, we may still find a few little notches, but the potential for rotation seems to be dropping off here as we move into the about 1:30. So let's poke around in this. So yeah, 30, 40 mile per hour gust, I think at best, or at worst, rather. Let's look at hail real quick. Yeah, this is certainly transitioning into more of a wind-driven concern, which is what we thought would happen. We just thought it would happen a little earlier. But again, best news is that everything is staying subsevere at the moment. So let's check velocity kind of along the leading edge of this system a little further to the north. Again, we're kind of in between radars, unfortunately. So that's where things start to get a little iffy when it comes to velocity. Looking at even at our on-campus radar, you kind of get out of range once you get to Huntsville, Walker County. So unfortunately, we're not getting the best reads on what the winds are doing right there. But again, maybe a little bit of a notch over towards Shiro. But I'm not overly concerned. But these storms are certainly noisy. Lots of lightning, lots of heavy rain. Again, heaviest of that happening right now from Waller through southern Grimes. It's moving towards Montgomery County and then up towards Walker County as well. We're kind of finding that finally moving into that straight line that we thought would happen a little earlier. Let's get a estimate on how fast this is going, and then I can get you guys a storm track at 25 miles per hour. Okay. So let's pause it. We'll do kind of the bottom half of the line. Was it about 25? Perfect. Okay. Let's go leading edge of view, kind of up through Grimes. So this should be out of here within the next, what time is it, 1:30? Hopefully within the next hour, we are done with all of the hubbub of the stronger thunderstorm activity. Now, I do still think we'll be dealing with rain filling in behind that. As you can see, kind of what we found up across our northernmost counties is once that leading edge has moved past, you got a little backfill going on. So let's get, the rest of this is probably moving at about 20. Oh, that's not right. Ignore that. This is moving at about 25 as well. I'll go rough estimate there. Yeah, I think this is out of here within the next hour. The leading edge, at least. Right now, severe thunderstorm watch still in effect until 2:30. Let's pull that up real quick. We've seen a lot of counties be trimmed out of that, which is nice. Until 2. Okay. So we've got that for about another 30 minutes. But I do believe now that we're kind of seeing things take a step back in intensity, we may go ahead and end our streams. If anything starts to pick up, I'll come back in, start the stream again. But right now, I'm not seeing anything overly concerning. Just some gusty winds, some heavy rain, a lot of lightning. But everything at the moment, subsevere. So, very good news there. That is looking a little interesting, moving into Montgomery County. So, with that, I'm going to end things here. Again, if activity starts to ramp up again, I will be back with you. But thanks so much for tuning in. And of course, we are going to keep eyes on this. Max and Cassidy have gone home to go get some sleep, and I've got eyes on it through the next few hours, and of course through BBTM. So, of course, you can catch the latest there. And again, if anything gets rowdy before then, I'll hop back on stream. But everyone, go to bed, get some sleep, get some rest, and we will catch you guys on the next one.